minute past the hour, so we're going to go ahead and start up this morning. Again, good morning. TGIF to everybody. This is Susan Szymanski. I'm the director at CV Group, and co-presenting this morning will be Gustavo Berizon. He's our solution consultant and the author of our E1 Page Studio. So let's go ahead and get started. Just want to take a quick minute this morning to do a quick CV Group overview. You can read these bullet points. We are a U.S.-based national presence Oracle Platinum partner. We do have global project experience. We've been doing J.D. Edwards projects and products for over 20 years. We're a full-service organization, and we also have a managed services offering as well. A little bit about the CV Group resources. As you can see on this slide, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, just to make you aware that of our skill set and our profile. So the agenda for this morning's webinar, we're going to do a quick overview of the CV Group E1 Page Studio, and then I'm going to talk very briefly about the base J.D. Edwards E1 Page Generator and how it works for those on the call that are not familiar with that tool. We're going to talk a little bit about the CV Group Page Studio components, which are the standard components of the pages, the sections, and then the content. We'll talk about the system requirements for the E1 Page Studio, and then Gustavo will jump right into the demo, and we'll follow that up with a question and answer time. So E1 Page Studio overview. E1 Page Studio was written 100% in the J.D. Edwards tool set. It's easy to learn, and it will give you an immediate return on your investment. It provides the ability to do personalization by role and by user. Gustavo will be demonstrating this. It provides the ability for you to inquire on the content by object and version. This is unique to our E1 Page Studio, and it helps facilitate the change management so that you can go in and you can see which applications by version exist on all of your E1 pages. There's no need to create any separate type of control. This allows you to go in and be able to do mass updates to your E1 pages if you've created a new version and you want to incorporate that into your pages. It also provides the ability to easy import and create your E1 pages from your existing task views. Let's look a little bit at the base Oracle Page Generator. If you're familiar with this, this is the base tool that comes with J.D. Edwards, and basically you create a .dat file. This shows an example of the syntax used when you create a base E1 page. As you can see in the inset box here, the inset window, it's very specific syntax that you have to type in to define your E1 page and your E1 page flow. With our tool set, we've gotten rid of the need for you to create any of this syntax, or what J.D. Edwards fondly refers to as ASCII art. Within the ASCII art, there's a rules of 5. So for each block or each section on a page, you have to type in 5 characters to define that section, and you use the lines just like you see here to define your E1 page flow. Again, with our tool set, we've gotten rid of the need for the rules of 5. The existing page with the Oracle E1 page definition is, as it's defined here, it's an alphabet, it's semantics, you have letters, hyphens, greater than signs, commas, slashes, dashes, spaces. With our tool set, we've gotten rid of it. You don't need to know or learn any of that to define your E1 pages. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, and that is the underlying thought behind our E1 Page Studio. So let's look a little bit at the value proposition for the E1 Page Studio. It's focused on the end user, not the developer. So you don't need to have technical background to create the E1 Page Studio. There's no need to learn the ASCII art, which I mentioned before. You'll have a history of all your previous pages. This is important in case you want to go back. If you've inlaid a picture or a color, you overwrote it, and you want to go back even a month later or a quarter later to that other page definition, you can do that. Our tool will automatically suggest the form name, which is the entry point for your application. It has a much smaller footprint on your system than the base E1 page generator, and Gustavo will talk to that. We have standard or custom styles, so we do provide standard style templates for building your E1 pages, but our tool allows you the ability to customize those styles, personalize them, add colors, add fonts, add pictures. And we also have the ability for you to report on your actual E1 pages. Here's an example of an OVR report that we created over our E1 Page Studio content. It's just an example to show you that our E1 Page Studio content is embedded within your E1 table definition. So the E1 Page Studio is fully customizable with the styles. You have the ability to add any type of images to your styles. You focus on the content. You can build the style template, but you focus on the content. Pages can be regenerated, and you'll be having the security auditing capabilities in our next release. At the bottom of this slide, you'll see some real quick examples of some of our customized E1 Page Studios, which we'll also go into here in just a moment. So the components for the E1 Page Studio. The E1 pages are made up of the page definition, the sections, and the content. So within E1 Page, this is similar to the Oracle base. So on this page, you'll see, on this slide, you'll see the health and safety default is the page. Your sections are the daily processing, the periodic processing, and your content is your actual program that you're going to be running within each of these boxes, what program to execute and what version of that program, or what OVR report are you going to execute within each of these boxes. That's the content. That's where you're defining the detail of what each of these boxes on your pages are going to execute. Here's just a couple of examples on these next few slides of some customized E1 pages. This one is for health and safety. It shows a hard hat. It shows the ear protection. It's just a picture that we took from our customer and inlaid behind their E1 page sections and contents. This next example is a different format where you'll have the horizontal bars defined with different pictures. This can get busy, but it also can be more effective to your end users. So a little bit about the requirements for the E1 Page Studio. The system requirements are minimal. We need to be able to install the styles on your Jazz server. We'll need a shared drive in a file server on your network in order to store the created pages. The users need to have read-write permissions. We need to have 7-zip installed on the client workstations only for those that are creating E1 pages. So of course the 7-zip is not required for all users. It's only required to be installed on the workstations for those that are creating the E1 pages. And our E1 Page Studio is cross-browser compatible, so it does work with all of the browsers. So we're going to jump into the demo now with Gustavo. He'll show you some of the features and functionality of our E1 Page Studio, and we plan on leaving about 10 minutes at the end of the presentation for your questions. Gustavo, you want to take it away?
All right, Susan. Good morning, everyone. I'm really happy and glad to have you in the audience so far. let me show a little bit about E1 Page Studio, what we can do with the system. Okay, so as Susan showed, this is a base E1 Page Studio page, which we have the page definitions that we can see as a blue background, this type of font, and colors. I mean, when I hover over, gets blue. When I click, it will gonna expand, and then we're gonna see the page definitions and the content. So as we can see over here, we have I create this page basically to showcase here, to start up my E1 Page Studio management. However, for the sake of different customizations and different content, so I can show you guys, for example, I can have I can with a different template, a different style, which I have here, Citigroup logo in the background, and then I have a different, when I hover the mouse over, we can see borders. So it's infinite. We can customize this very easily. We can customize the content for you, the styles, and image backgrounds, fonts, colors, borders, shadows, all this type of interface, user interface. So we can go from a user page with user interface like this. This is the standard base Oracle page created, and this is that page on the health and safety. So as we can see, here's a different user interface, which we can move up and down, and I can expand. I can even use my mouse wheel to go through the content. And everything that you see here, from the font perspective, color in the text here, the image background, the colors and hovers and everything can be custom. So I can change this yellow color to a blue color, to any type of color, accordingly to your needs. So we're gonna go and gonna personalize for you this style based on your company, using logos, using, the sky's the limit. Here's another user interface that we are starting to implement at E1 Page Studio. So we may have this type of menus opening, and with the image background, and all the image is gonna shrink accordingly to the resolution. It's resolution independent. So for all menus here, for all sections, I have my page definition, and then I have my sections, and within the sections I have the content. So this is really powerful, and we can customize for this with the same content. We can apply different styles. So this is a really sleek tool, and as we're going to show you, it's really simple and easy to create a page and to manage the page. Because one thing is, when you start using pages, specifically if you want to go for mobile, for the iPad, if you're thinking about to go for the iPad, in the iPad there's no navigator, so there's no menus, so you can't, you do have fast path. However, in the iPad app there's no menus, so your entry point are going to be or your fast path or pages. You can also have your favorites, but within the pages you are a single click distance from your application. So I strongly recommend, if you want to think about get through the iPad app, think about E1 Pages seriously. And as we can see here, E1 Page Studio is really simple and easy to use application. I started E1 Page Studio now, so for each page, each record, each line that you see here, my grid, I applied a page ID and a description for the page. So let's say, for example, here for let's get the studio page. So I have created this studio page. Let's see an example here. So I'm going to select this page. And let's take a look here how simple it is to get a page definition, to define a page. So in our case here, I have the page ID that I entered, a description. Then I have a product code that's required by Oracle. In my case here, I have Q54 for Oracle. For Q54 is Citigroup's product code at Oracle. And here we have a style. Which style I want to choose? So I can select different styles. I can customize many styles here. So I can have a Citigroup style. I can have a default green, pink, red. So you can create your own. You are able to implement, to create your own style. If your company is ABC, we can create a style ABC focused in your company, focused in your needs, and more. I may have a style that I can use for accounts payable, the accounts payable team, and I can have a style specifically for accounts receivable or for a specific role, for administrators, for, so we can customize and we can personalize the styles accordingly to the role and to the user. You can have, for example, your CFO with a page, your personalized page and like a dashboard style that we can create with the main activities for the CFO. And we can, let's say, for example, embed a family picture in the background. So this is going to be an extension of the desktop. Sometimes we have in our offices pictures of family and all this stuff, travels, trips. So it's really easy to create a style and implement and publish a style like that. We have also several options, which is part of our version number 2, our second wave of improvements within One-Page Studio. So we have override description on form. We have display pop-up info, allow multicolor content. We can also display version title on content and use version title as description. I'm gonna go deeper in the tool, and then I'm gonna go back here and explain how all those options works. But the name itself already, let's say, display pop-up info. When you hover the mouse over a box, a content, a pop-up we're gonna show with the application name, in case it's application, with form and version, so you can see exactly what program are you running. So this type of information we can just by clicking, by selecting the information, we are able to enable or disable these features, these options in your page. And that's it. I mean, it's really simple and plain, and again, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So after we create this first, the page content, the page definition, now it's time to go to dig into sections. Let's define here which sections I may have in my page. Let's get here, for example, the CRM page. The CRM page, and then I go role, I select a page, and go section. So which sections are part of my page? So in my case here for CRM, I have some sample data here that's not related actually with CRM. However, I'm going to show some samples, some examples here about sections, because those sections are going to be the collection of content, collection of programs. So going to be the title of programs that we can use. And then I have a presentation sequence here, which I'm able to define, hey, here's going to be my first section, and then reports going to be my second, in the second place, and third place, and so forth. So we can easily set up where my content, my section, we're going to be in the page. Okay? And the section, we can easily manage the sections. You can easily use and reuse the section's description. And how can I manage that? So I have in the form entry, choose manage sections. So as we can see, we can create our own. You can use and you can reuse. When we deliver E1 Page Studio, there's a sample data here for you. Just start working. However, you are totally free, and actually I totally recommend you start creating your own sections with your own titles and your own descriptions. So once you start doing this within the sections, now after we select the sections, choose the sections specifically for your page, let me get here back to Studio. I'm right-click here in the grid, and then I'm selecting the row menu section. And let me add a new section here, just for sake of our presentation here, our sample. Let me get here accounts payable. There's nothing related to Studio, but just to show how this works. So I just added accounts payable section here on my Studio page. I'm going to save here, and let me back, right-click again, get the row, menu, section. So I have accounts payable, and right-click again. How can I content? So for each section, I need to define now the content. How can I add programs, applications, reports, tasks? How can I do that? So just select the section that you want, go to the row menu, pages, content. Once we enter in the content screen, here where the magic happens. Let's say, for example, if I want to manually create my page content, if I have a list on my side here with applications that I have to type in, I can type in, let's say P01012, and then I have a form name. I can select my form name with Visual Assist. So it's all integrated. You don't need to have this information written down or even type in. As you could see here, after I type the program name, the form name automatically goes. I'm auto-suggesting the entry point form. And then I have a version. I can choose a version. And this is linked with my current versions that I have available for me. So I can easily select my version instead of typing in manually. So I can select my version in a description, address book. I'm manually typing, in which the presentation sequence. Let's go for the next field. Oh, let's go for the next field. Let me just get back here. I'm sorry, here, Studio. Let me go for this page here, page content. Yeah, because what's happened here, I have defined that for the Studio page, I'm allowing multicolor content. I'm allowing multicolor content. For this multicolor content, I'm gonna need get Studio section and E1 Page Studio Management. Let me get to the content. And for this, show all columns, and then I have a color. So I can select also the color for my content here. So we predefined a few colors schemas, but we can easily change. This can be easily changed. I defined 10 color schemas here, blue, brown, green, but we can easily define your own color schema for you to use. So basically here, blue, and let me save. And again, let me back here to my page, and P01012. Here's the form entry point already. Which version should I choose? Let me select a version. Okay, and type in address book. Let me show color, the presentation sequence. This is going to be my first item, and the color blue. Let's go for the next record. Let's say, for example, R42800 sales update. So as we move to the next field, I'm searching on my object librarian, and I see there's a new BE, so there's no reason for form. So I jump already to my version. So let me select sales update proof, and here, sales update proof. So I'm showing you how to manually type in content for your one-page studio. And here, as the next field on the UBE call type, we can have several UBE call types here. This is going to be the way that the UBE is going to behave when you click. So let's say, for example, if you want to, after you click the box, the square, the content, you click that sales update proof. You want to, the behavior, you're going to be blind mode. You can have a data selection. You can prompt for PO and data selection. For PO only, as a part of J.D. Edwards page system, it must be a task view. You must define the UBE inside a task view, and then make this call via a task view that's going to prompt only for processing options. So that's why I put task view here. That's not going to work. That's not going to prompt a processing option for a UBE directly. The UBE must be inside a task view. Or a version list. Selecting a version list is here. And let's get a color. Let's get for green. Let's go for the next line. So as we can move down to the next line, as I type it in a version list, there's no need to have a version over here. So this is why I mean, there's no need for a version when you have a version list, because a version list is going to be prompt for me. So let's say that I'm good with that, and I just kind of create my my content. I just show here my content, and I already kind of typed it in manually, my list of programs, and I already have my Page Studio Management content here. I have my programs. I have all my colors defined. I have everything already set. So now it's time to generate the page. How does it work? So what do you need to do to generate a page? How can you generate a page within Page Studio? It's really simple. Now that you have your page definition ready, your sections filled up, and your content, this next step is so easy. So just gonna go row after you select your page, generate page. So here's how it works. You just submit page, and that's it. So where my page, you see, I have a new BE, and it's done. So where my page is stored? As part of our requirements, we mentioned that we need a shared drive. So this shared drive is going to be a common place, a file server, where we're going to store our content. So basically here, I have a page directory, and based on my page directory, all those pages here were created using E1 Page Studio. So, and I'm automatically taking care of this directory creation and all these steps automatically for you. So I actually came up here to this share drive. I check if you already have this directory, and then I check if you already have a home.html file. If you already have, I'm automatically back up this page for you. So again, here is all my pages that I started creating. So here I have home, underline a username, underline date, and underline time. So you have your previous versions of the page back it up. So you are able to get the page back again to the system if you want. So, and again, you don't need to worry about that. Everything's being done automatically. So a single file here. Let's take a look here in our studio page. So as we can see, we do have a home.zip file over here. So let me delete this home.zip. So I have generated here a home.html. Again, this is a single file, small footprint that I'm taking in your system. But just by double-clicking this home.html, I can easily preview my page even before sending it to JDE. So we have the content, and then here's accounts payable. That was the setup with blue and green color that I created. Okay, so this is easily. I mean, I select the default style, and then for this default style, I just kind of choose my content. I create my sections, and here's the programs, the content itself. Okay, so the next step, basically, this is how we can easily generate pages, change styles, or work on different approach with E1 Page Studio. Let's say here if I want to change a page from default to a yellow color, and let's regenerate again with Studio. Let's Studio generate page. Okay, it's already done. And if I reload the page, we can see it's in yellowish. Again, everything here can be changed. All behavior, these colors, everything. As you can see, I'm switching between colors here. You can create your own color. You can have. We can work closely with you to select different color properties. And if you want to go plain, default, and you're good to go as well. Let's go for another feature, another important feature. So now we went through the whole page creation process. Let's take a look now in some add-ons that we have. So after we select the page, let's say, for example, I do have here 30 pages already created, which is easily feasible in a real world. I have a customer with 485 pages distributed across his company. So things start to grow really fast. I do have here only 30 pages. Let's take a look here how all these pages works and where are the pages content and how it works. So I do have here Studio Inquire, which basically tells me, hey, for each page here, which easily allows me to find for information. As you can see here, I have 1,120 records for my pages. Can you imagine this? 1,000 records can you imagine this stored in .NET files? Let's say, for example, I have 27 items, almost 30. Let's say, for example, in your company, in your whole company environment, if we do have the sales update, in which pages I do have my R42800, my sales update program. I do have here in 32, there's 32 records and different pages, which I may have this R42800. Can you imagine? Let's say, for example, let's get the XJD001, this version. So now I do have 6 pages, and sales order, accounts payable, PTP, test, Q software, CRM. And let's say, for example, here, how can I do that? How can I find that? If a business came to me, my business users, oh, we're going to make a massive change from XJD001 to ZJD0001. So here, as you can see, I already have all pages that I know how to change, where to change. And here, I have to open, probably Control F, R42800. Oh, I cannot find. Let me close this. Let me open up again here, R42800. Nope. And so forth. So here's the thing. I mean, it's way more difficult to find content within a file other than already in the system. And we can have even reporting E1 Page Studio content, and we can manage, we can create OVR. My OVR server is not working at this moment, but we can have OVR reporting based on this content. You can slice and dice this information and present as I show in the presentation here. Let me get back. So we do have an OVR report, and you can add your logo if you do have one view reporting, or you can export the grid data. So there's many options here. So you can easily have a view of your assets. Okay, and talking about having this type of view, what about your menus that you work at and you invest a lot of money in creation and securing and creating all security for your menus and deploying and publishing for your users and roles? How can you reuse that? How can you do that easily? So let's back here to our studio page. Let me get to my section. Let me add a new section here just for accounting inquiries, and this is going to be my third row. Okay, let me back again, section, and let me dig in and pages content. How can I easily import from my page studio, from my tasks that I created with lots of effort and man hours to accomplish this, making security and publish my roles and everything. So let's say, for example, here in my case, manual receipts processing. So this task is G03B12, and then I have all those programs here. I do have a form exit here, and I have an import from task. Again, G03B12. Find. Here I have all my programs within that task, including the presentation sequence that you gave. I can close. I just select everything, press Ctrl-C, and now I'm Ctrl-V. Of course, this is color enabled. Let me get here different colors, red, orange, green. So we can even improve this process here because this is color enabled. Remember, you get red again, and you can color code. You can color code your processes. Okay? And again, think about not to the pages itself. Think about pages as a reduced version of your menus. Don't think to implement all options in all menus, otherwise you're going to be endless with pages. So pages basically is provided to get to the main components, to the main applications that a user or a role we're going to use. You still keep your menus for more detailed, for more precise applications and processes, but for a daily processing, for a daily use, the pages are the perfect. Let's say, for example, here. In my case here, for this page, I don't want to have this. You know, I'm maintaining this. I'm cleaning up a little bit. Okay, so I'm fine now. I'm reducing the content, the amount of content on my. I'm simplifying my view. Let me save. Let me save again, and generate page. And the page has been generated. Let me switch back here. So now we can have my account inquires, and here are my programs that I generated. Okay, so once you generate the page, pages, let me go to Studio, and here are my page. Here is my page. The next step is going to be I have to zip the file using 7-zip, add to home.zip, and then with this home.zip file, which is 2K, and then after that we import to JD Edwards. I'm not go for the JD Edwards process because this is a standard process, but as you can see here, after I finish my page, it's approved. Now I just kind of ended my page edition. It's a shared drive. Other people came up. Oh, it's okay. It looks good. I mean, of course, it's a little overwhelmed with colors, but I want to show you those options, those color options that we have. But now it's done. I mean, oh, I like this. Looks wonderful, and it's ready to go. So the next step is going to be you're going to zip this single file here and import in JD Edwards using the user content management. So this is a standard JD Edwards process. If you're already working with pages, or if you have any questions on this process, on this standard JD Edwards process, I'll be more than happy, more than glad to walk through this process in a later time with you. I mean, just send an email or let Sarah knows. I'll be more than happy to walk through the process, the import process and publishing. It's a really simple steps as well. So this is basically, this is how E1 Page Studio works. So we create the page definitions, then we create sections and add content to that sections. E1 Page Studio also has another capability. I'm leveraging here now, as I'm on the main screen on E1 Page Studio, to give you a holistic view on the whole process, the whole page, how it works. I create some Cafe One content on E1 Page Studio. So what does it mean? It means that for my studio page here, in my single screen application here on my studio application, I open up by selecting a page. I'm matching the same ID here, and then I can take a look at my sections for this page, and then I can look for my content inside this page. So in a single screen, I can have a holistic view on all my process, all my content. And if I change, let's say for CRM page, everything going to be called by the CRM. So you see the whole page structure that you have. Okay, so E1 Page Studio is Cafe One ready. So it's really simple. And again, if I want to go deeper, and let's go for my section. My section, we also create a layout which on the fly I can add, I can delete, I can save content based on my page. So on my section. So for my E1 Page Studio page, for my section accounts payable, I can add a new UBE, I can add a new screen, a new program, and so forth. Okay, so sales entry, and that's it. Presentation sequence 3 and save. Let me get the colors here. So B4210 goes order 3, and then I can select blue color and save the content using Cafe One and more. If I go to my content, I can easily, I do have a layout as well to import my tasks. So I can type my task view here, G03B12. I can, on the fly, I can Control-C, and let me open up here to show all columns. I can minimize here, Control-V. I'll get some reds here for the colors. You can make a single color as well, no problem at all. I'm just kind of showing how it works with the colors, and that's it. So this is a really simple and straightforward way to go from a Cafe One perspective, from open different applications at the same time, and giving you a holistic view on all your processes on your pages using E1 Page Studio. So with that said, I'm open for questions and answers. This is what I have to show you guys at this moment. We are improving, again, we are improving our E1 Page Studio software. There's more to come. We have a lot of ideas, integration with security. We do have plans for flows, business to create how you can create and leverage business flows. And that's a lot. There's a lot to come. New user interfaces, integration with this new Alta style that came 915. So we're going to be Alta ready as well. So yeah, we are really excited about this product. So I'm open for questions, Sarah. If you have any questions so far from the audience, I'm going to be more than happy to answer.
Thanks, Gustavo. This is Susan again. Just to tack on to what Gustavo said, we are continuing to improve the product. We're going to have a release 2.0 available at the Collaborate meeting this year, and we are consistently working to improve feature and functionality, and we're getting that input from our existing E1 Page Studio customers. So, Gustavo, there's one question. We've asked that questions be submitted via the web, via the webinar, because last time we opened it up for questions, we got too much feedback online. But the first question that we have is, are the pages that are stored on the shared drive, what will happen if the shared drive is down or not accessible? Can you still launch the pages in E1 if for some reason the shared drive is not accessible?
Absolutely. I mean, the shared drive is used only to create the page, only to generate the page. It's a repository where the pages are going to be stored. After you import the page to JD Edwards, the shared drive is not needed anymore. So the pages go to the JD Edwards and users can be able to use. It's not related to the shared drive actually. So once it's imported to JD Edwards, you don't need to worry about the shared drive, the content in the shared drive anymore. So with that said, you import the page to JD Edwards from the shared drive. If the shared drive is down, you don't need to worry about. The page is going to be already up within JD Edwards. Of course, if the shared drive is down and you haven't imported already to JD Edwards, you're not going to be able to import because you're not going to access the page. Other than that, yeah, it's a really good question. Yes, no, it's not dependent of the shared drive. The shared drive is just a location to create for the page creation and to grab the file and import to JD Edwards.
Right. Okay, thanks, Gustavo. So just so we're clear, that shared drive is just a repository. It's where we're storing the historical pages in case you want to be able to go back and leverage one of your past page layouts or styles. Second question here, Gustavo, is can you set up security so that only certain people can modify specific pages? An example of that would be so that only the CRM manager can modify the CRM page.
Yes, this is a JDE role security model. So, or you can even create a version for E1 Page Studio and for the application itself, and apply a role security model. So you may have the CRM page already, the page ID defined, or you can select a naming convention, let's say for CRM, CRM underscore page 01 or something like that. Yes, it's totally possible to separate this information using JD Edwards standard security. Yes.
Perfect. Thanks, Gustavo. Next question is from Ed, and his question is, can you use icons instead of simple boxes with colors?
Absolutely. We are working for this version 02 that's coming this year at Collaborate, and we are going to adding images, logos, icons, including the Alta design icons. Yes, you're going to, at version 2, we're going to have icons and more. We'll be able to define where the icon is going to be. It's going to be on the top, on the right, on the left, at the bottom, on the square. So yes, definitely yes. I'm really excited about that.
Perfect, thank you. We have one other question here. Let me bring it up from Lisa. And the question is, have you defined security, and if you have defined security and you import the task from task views, does that defined security come with the imported task?
Absolutely. If you define E1 Page Studio and the E1 Pages process will never overlap security. I mean, let's say, for example, this page here, specific page, if my role at this moment, I'm not able to run this application by security, and I'm part of the role that is published, the page is published for me, even though I can see the icon here, when I click the icon, the security message is going to pop up. You have no authorization to run this page. Please contact your administrator. So at any moment, we are overlapping or bypassing some security already published in JD Edwards. So if you have a role and your specific user is not allowed to run the specific application, even though you are able to see, you are not able to execute the application. Even talking about role security, if you open your application, if you're allowed to see some lines or companies or filter, whatever, the security is the same.
Perfect. Thanks, Gustavo. And that is a question that we get quite often, but we absolutely do incorporate your E1 security model. The next question is from Andres. Can we still host outside websites within the new Page Studio?
Can still host outside websites?
I think the question might be here, Gustavo, if we can access outside websites via URL.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes. This is a E1 Page's ability. So you can create a page, easily create a new page here pointing to some URL. And yes, you can do that. But this is Oracle J.D. Edwards user content management application that kind of deal with pages and OVRs and so forth. So you're able to create a link. So let me show just quickly here. So instead of importing a file, you can have a URL link here. So HTTP group.com. So yes. So and then you can view the URL, and here we go. So you have this URL in our page. Okay, and coexisting with E1 Page Studio pages and so forth.
Very good, Gustavo. That's all the questions that we have online right now. You've answered all of them. So I guess we would just end this this webinar. If you have any questions, any additional questions regarding the E1 Page Studio, please contact either Sarah, myself, this is Susan Szymanski, or Gustavo. We'll be happy to answer your questions and provide additional input to you on pricing and the implementation and onboarding for the E1 Page Studio. Thank you for attending the webinar this morning. We greatly appreciate it, and have a good weekend.
Thank you all.